Chapter 6. The Threshold of Sound. The next chamber Calderon entered was a marvel, humming with a palpable energy that resounded through the air and into his chest. Unlike the previous spaces, steeped in visceral confrontation, this place radiated an elaborate intricacy, invoking focus rather than defense. Every surface sparkled with intent, though its purpose remained elusive. The walls stretched upward in a patchwork of interlocking metallic panels, textures and hues shifting subtly. Some gleamed with burnished gold, some as liquid fire. Others absorbed light almost entirely, matte surfaces pulsing hazily with an internal rhythm. Overhead, a web of copper-toned beams crossed the ceiling, slashed with grooves that resembled veins. From them hung chains so fine they appeared like spun silk. They swung with a precise regularity. Calderon stepped forward cautiously, his shoes brushing the floor's metallic mosaic. Each plate emitted a low hum, responding to his presence with tonal shifts that overlapped into an understated symphony. A tuning fork resting on the central pedestal drew his attention, its weathered prongs faintly translucent, like sentinels waiting for a task. It would prove to be a key tool in understanding and harmonizing with the chamber. As he approached, the vibrations around him intensified. He waffled, his hands hovering above the fork. The labyrinth's trials had taught him both caution and the futility of retreat. With a deep breath, he clamped it into his palm. The chamber erupted in sound. A cacophony of tones filled the place, each distinct and clashing. Deep, oscillating bellows mingled with sharp, high-pitched trills and tremulous hums that seemed to sink into him. Calderon staggered, his hand gripping the tuning fork as though it were the only solid thing in the maelstrom. The walls glowed erratically, responding to the chaotic plangents with bursts of light and shadow. It was overwhelming and disorienting. "Why does it fight me?" he muttered, struggling to focus amidst the tumult. A voice, low and resonant, rose within the chamber. It was neither hostile nor welcoming, simply present. "It does not oppose. It speaks." Calderon froze. The voice lacked the confrontational edge of the shadow he had faced earlier. Where the shadow demanded acknowledgement of his buried fears, this presence required something more nuanced. "I don't understand," Calderon admitted, his voice almost drowned out by the chamber's symphony. "The dissonance is not an obstacle," the voice replied, each word rippling through the chambers as though woven into its fabric. "It is part of the whole. Did you seek to silence it?" Calderon thought of the shadow he had confronted, the raw anger and grief that had demanded recognition. That challenge had been personal, intimate. This one felt larger, as though it encompassed more than himself. "I don't want to silence it," he said slowly, "but I don't know how to make sense of it." The voice responded, its tone steady. "It is not yours to make sense of dissonance. You align with resonance. Strike the fork." Calderon faltered. He felt the fork's vibration beneath his fingers, its subtle energy calling to him. With deliberate care, he struck it against the pedestal. The single note that emerged was pure and probing, cutting through the clamor. The chamber responded immediately. The walls' chaotic bursts of light settled into a rhythm, the clashing tones aligning into a melody that encased Calderon. The tuning fork vibrated with a force that echoed through his entire being, not overpowering him, but synchronizing with him. As the harmony unfolded, Calderon's mind turned inward. The shadow's lessons had been about reclaiming the fractured parts of himself, the pieces he had buried out of fear. These were integral parts of his being. Here, he was not wrestling with personal demons, but navigating the coexistence of disparate forces. The discord was not an enemy to be vanquished, but a necessary part of the greater whole. This isn't about me alone, Calderon realized aloud, his voice carrying the weight of revelation. It's about finding balance within myself and with everything else. The voice hummed in acknowledgement. Harmony is not achieved through elimination. It arises when all parts, light and shadow, discord and melody, align. The distinction crystallized for Calderon. In the previous chamber, he had reclaimed the shadow as part of his identity, a deeply personal act of self-acceptance. Here, he learned to navigate the interplay of contrasting forces by listening, adjusting, and coordinating. The sound within the room grew softer, the tones fading into a unified hum that filled the space with a profound stillness. Calderon stood motionless, the tuning fork warm in his hands, its vibration mirroring the rhythm of his heartbeat. Integration, he muttered. Not of what I've hidden, but of what surrounds me, of what is. The voice spoke one final time. You are the conduit. Through you, harmony can exist, but only if you listen. The chamber's glow softened, and the fork's vibration stilled. Ahead, a new passageway revealed itself, framed by glowing silver pillars. Calderon stepped toward it, newfound knowledge settling within him. The labyrinth was not merely teaching him to face himself, it was showing him how to exist within the symphony of existence, to find alignment in a world of contradictions. As he moved forward, the tuning fork trembled faintly in his grip, a quiet reminder of the power of the transformation he had yet to complete.